Hi, welcome along to AFTV. We're going to preview the game now. Arsenal versus Chelsea. This is a huge game as regards to who's going to get into the top four. I've got Louis from 100% Chelsea. What can I say? You guys are way ahead of us at the moment.
Yeah.
6 points ahead of us. We had that shock defeat against West Ham last week, which has really set us back. And now for us, it's an absolute must-win game. We have a decent record against you guys at the Emirates. However, it's a 50-50 game, isn't it?
It is, 100%.
Probably, actually, I'll probably say the game's more in your favour because we have been on a very poor run recently.
I don't know. You know what I'm like. I'm very pessimistic. I mean, if you look at the way that we're setting up at the minute, the biggest issue is goals for Chelsea. You know, we're playing this beautiful football that everyone bangs on about, but you know, it doesn't really matter if you can stick 11 men behind the ball. Go right, come on, Chelsea. Let's play football. And then if there's just 11 men there, you just can't break them down.
But we ain't going to play like that, though. We're not going to put 11 men behind the ball.
Well, no, you won't. But you have that energy to almost just keep your shape as well and counter, which is what I've noticed you've done against other teams as well on a couple of occasions. You kind of, I think, Torreira's made Xhaka look like the world's best midfielder. So it's kind of the case of, you know, you've got a pretty sturdy midfield, I guess, and it kind of just keeps the shape from there. And that's kind of where the battle's going to be won, because that's where our main hub of, creativity is the word I'd like to use. I mean, Jorginho's made 1,875 passes, hasn't got an assist. But, you know, we'll glaze over that. But it's kind of the case of that's where most of our attacks start. That or David Luiz just hoofs it long and hopes that someone gets on the end of it.
That hoofing long has worked pretty well against us in recent times as well. Trust me, we conceded a lot of goals like that. I mean, listen, the two teams, it's a really interesting game because the two teams at the moment in a very similar position as regards to transition. We've both got new managers. We've both got some new players in the team. Sarri, how has he got on for you so far this season?
Maurizio Sarri is...
What did you say?
I said his name. We've done this before. Come on, you did this gag in the first game.
No, what did you say?
Maurizio Sarri. That's his name.
Maurizio Sarri.
Maurizio Sarri. That's his name.
I forgot you got your little Italian roots.
Mate,
Maurizio Sarri.
Maurizio, yeah.
Maurizio,
yeah.
okay. So how's Maurizio doing?
Maurizio is... To be honest, I think it's too early to properly judge him and sit there and go, he's doing well or he's doing poorly, because he's trying to implement a very attacking style of football onto a team that naturally over the previous decade has been very defensive, you know, counter-attacking football. I think it's going okay, but the question is, I think, for me anyway, a lot of Chelsea fans are being very optimistic and sort of sitting there saying he's going to get time, he's going to be given time to develop the start. It took him 3 years to get there in Naples, he'll do it again here, he'll get the time to do it. Biggest issue, exactly, is it's Chelsea Football Club, and I'm sitting there going, you know, we're getting similar results we were to last season. The biggest issue, I think, well, the biggest thing for me, anyway, if I was in that boardroom, be sitting there saying, can we improve on the results we had? Right now, we have improved. I think that's the biggest thing for us. And so he's doing okay. For me, the biggest issue remains in his ideology of talking about, we need to do better in the final third and we need to do better in the box, which is completely true. But when players stray from his thought process, which is pass sideways, backwards, recycle the ball, and just do what Luiz does and goes, right, you know, we're not getting the result here, let's try and score a goal, it kind of impedes on what he wants. And the other thing is as well with the Chelsea board, he doesn't really... He's the good thing in comparison to Antonio Conte, who, when he signed the contract as a head coach, was saying he wanted these players and wasn't getting any players and was banging on about it all the time. Sarri's kind of sat in the role of head coach, said, look, I haven't got anything to do with transfer business, but I've said I kind of like these people. It's a vicious cycle at Chelsea where, you know, if he doesn't get what he needs, he'll be the one out the door, rather than improving what we have and what we need to do in terms of getting a director of football, which I understand you guys have obviously sorting that out as well recently.
That's what I said, we're similar at the moment.
Yeah, so it's exactly, to be honest, it's exactly the same. You know, we're in limbo.
Hazard, he's the threat. He's the main man of the team.
He's the only man in the team, I think, is the correct term to be using.
Yeah, he's the threat, though. Yeah. Been playing well this season?
Yeah, I'd say... I
know he started off well, but he's gone a little quiet recently, hasn't he?
I'd say he's been playing with a lot more freedom. I think the reason he's gone a lot more quiet is because he's been playing down the middle, and he doesn't like playing down the middle. People say it's a false nine, but he does drop deeper on some occasions, but the majority of the time he spends his time as a typical centre forward. And when teams are sitting deep, you know, a player like Hazard wants to get on the ball and cut in from the wings and try and make space. If he's in the middle of the park, he can't really do that as much because that's where the team shape is. He's not been as influential, I'd say, recently, but at the same time, well, in a stereotypical manner in terms of everything. But he's definitely still controlling the game in terms of link-up play. I think he moves well with Hazard. With Hazard? He does, but that's in the Belgian national team. He moves well with, you know, Willian and Pedro. Pedro, a fantastic performer, obviously understanding possession-based football. Willian, not so much. I think he's kind of getting caught out a little bit.
What about
more.
Morata?
Who?
Will he play in that game?
Who?
Morata.
Who? Oh, the man that doesn't play for us, to sit on the bench all the time. Oh, yeah.
Funny thing is, remember when you lot beat us at Stamford Bridge, he scored.
He did.
He got you off to a great start in that game, and actually it was a great finish as well.
It was a good finish.
I remember he sort of took the ball around the keeper, and that was a great finish.
And he also had like what 4 or 5 1-on-1s last season in the League Cup, which he missed at the Emirates. So it's it's hit.
So who'll start up front then?
I think it'll be false 9. Well, false 9.
False 9.
I think it'll be Willian.
Unless you get, at the time of this programme you haven't got him, but maybe a Higuain. You think that could happen before?
Nah, it won't happen. It won't happen in full because, like I said, Chelsea need a director of football. And all due respect to Marina, she knows her business. She can find profits wherever she needs to. She does really well with that. Issue is she doesn't seem to understand the football climate and the football business side of it. She signs players which, don't really fit the mould or don't really, well, they don't fit the mould at all. And to be honest, Higuain, for me personally, if it was because obviously the big conversation between Callum Wilson or Gonzalo Higuain, and I think for me, obviously Gonzalo Higuain is, the name up in lights, the one that will sell the shirts. But he's 31. It'll be an 18-month loan deal because we'll be taking over AC Milan's deal. And after that, I think it's obligation to buy, which means, and he's wanting like 140 grand a week and like a 2-3 year deal for a 31-year-old. So,
but listen, you've got. I don't understand your club. Because you've got 2 strikers who play in a false number 9. You've even got Tammy Abrahams who you could bring back. Teams are fighting to get him. You've got strikers.
Give me the last Chelsea youth player that came through and put his name on the side. And
I've been telling you about that with your team for a very long time.
Yeah, and I've been agreeing with you.
You never bring anybody through.
And the next one at the minute is Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's potentially touted for a 35 million move to Bayern Munich, but is definitely our second best winger. Yeah, I think he'll go.
Yeah?
I am fully convinced that he's going to leave. I like to think that way, so if he doesn't leave, I can be really happy. But it's kind of a case of, look, if a side like Bayern Munich want you, they're offering you their number 10 shirt, they're offering you, the first starting 11, they believe in you as talent, they're going to play you, and you're sat on a Chelsea bench behind Willian, who isn't performing, Pedro, who is doing okay, he's a decent player.
Getting older.
But he's getting older as well. This is a kid who, when there's been times when I'm banging on about his lateral movement, he takes the ball, he takes people on, and he whips a ball in early, which is what you need sometimes. You need to be old-fashioned in your style of football. You need to be able to change it up. But it's kind of a case of, with the centre forwards we've already spoken about Morata. His lack of, I think it's a lack of confidence. I don't think he's happy. I really like Giroud, but he hasn't really scored many goals for us this season at all. In fact, I don't think he scored any. I think he scored 1.
Yeah.
But it's kind of 1 or 2. But it's kind of a case of, I think, in terms of his link-up play,
we sold him at the right time.
he's a good player.
But he's a good plan B. He's a good plan B.
He's a very good plan B.
Who do you fear from Arsenal's team? When you look at Arsenal's team, what worries you about the where do you think the weakness is?
Yeah. And
where do you think the strengths are that worry you?
Well, the obvious strengths are, that front line. The likes of Lacazette, Aubameyang, they're unreal players. And the fact that we basically helped you get Aubameyang really annoys me because of that dodgy love triangle with Batshuayi, Giroud and Aubameyang last year. But I think it's kind of a case of, that's the obvious ones. I kind of like defensive players, and obviously your defence isn't great. That's the main weakness. But I really like Torreira. I really like him. He's a terrier, I think is the correct way to put it. Kind of the way he runs around and marshals the play and is really effective. I really like Lucas Torreira. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's going to be a big threat for us in terms of dominating that midfield. That Kante-Torreira battle is going to be massive. But I think your biggest weakness is the defence. But the question is, are we going to exploit it? Potentially. But I think at the same time, we're going to be really nervous about your front line, so we're going to be defending a lot more. I think a good example of showing what Chelsea are capable of is the Manchester City game. But then at the same time is the Leicester game the week after, where we can perform poorly against Leicester after absolutely, well, not demolishing, but playing really well against the best team in the world, you know, in my opinion anyway. So I think it's just a case of, it depends what Chelsea turn up against you guys.
All right, give us a, I know you never like to give the scores, but give us a prediction.
I'm
Chelsea
gonna go
win, draw.
2-1 Chelsea.
Oh, you're giving predictions now?
That's what my heart says.
Oh, he's giving predictions now.
That's what my heart says. My head says it's going to be a draw. I reckon it'll be like 1-1.
Okay, I'll give my prediction to the game over on your channel when we do that interview. But I'm looking forward to the game. It's Saturday, 5:30 kickoff. Arsenal versus Chelsea at the Emirates. My God, do Arsenal need a victory in this game? It's absolutely huge.